Morning, everyone. As all of you know, we have started a new year, and it has started out with a bang. As of this morning, Midnight Publishing has sold 52 books by different authors. And some of those books are ranking in their categories of new releases. Witchy Weeds by Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc. It is ranking on the Kindle side in number 77. This book is about things in our yard that we run over with the lawnmower or kill with pesticides that are good for food as well as for healing. Excellent book. I suggest that you order it. Delville's book, I See You Love from a Different Perspective, is still sitting in the top 100 in its perspective category. Dale is a brand new author. He came to us not too long ago. He'd been working on this book for a couple of years. And my fellow author, Mary Brotherton, edited the book for him and showed him how to get it to me in the right format. And this book is doing very well. He has had people order the book and read it and tell him how much it has affected their lives. Then we have Sherry Ann Richardson's The Chocolate Lover's Garden. If you are into chocolate, into history, into baking, into gardening, into patisseries, or if your child is, this book is for you. It gives the history of the cocoa plant, which is real chocolate. It also tells you how to grow the plant from seed, how to cook with it, how to keep it healthy. It's such an interesting book. Murder in the Village, my book before Duct Tape, Tarp, and a Shovel, is still sitting in the top 100 of new releases in a category. What I'm trying to say is this. When you hear people say indie authors are not worthy, laugh at them. I have the best group of indie authors out there. They are as diversified in their writing as they are in their personalities. And they work hard at their craft. Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc has been in the business almost as long as I have. Mary Brotherton has been in the business for a hot minute. We have several new ones that are just coming on that we embrace with all of our hearts. Bonnie Clark is working on a new book. Her book, Errol's Journey, is heartbreaking, uplifting, and one of those stay with you books. It is a great book for someone who is taking a journey mentally, physically, and emotionally. Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc's book, Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel, is for a group of folks out there who consider themselves goths. Now, these are not Satanistic worshiping people. These are people who, like me, wear black. Black is a color. They worship God. They believe in God. This book is a spiritual, inspirational book for that group of people and for people who don't understand them. Highly recommend it. L.A. Ryan's book, Secrets. If you are into thrillers and police action, get that book because it is the story of a young girl who has a gift Some call it the gift of sight. Some call it a sixth sense. She goes to work for the Atlanta Police Department in the 70s as a stenographer. And in the 70s, I'm a young adult in the 70s. I was born in the 50s, so I'm a child of the 50s. But in the 70s, women were still looked down on. They didn't have the opportunities that men had. They were considered secondary citizens. So this girl has a lot to overcome before she's accepted in this realm of police work with her gift. Sherry Ann Richardson's book, Under the Dragon's Eye, she wrote when she was 17 years old. No, it's not a book about a dragon. However, it has a dragon's eye in it. It's a book about the mob. Well done. Then we have Mary Brotherton's children's books, If I Could Be a Butterfly, If I Could Be a Mermaid, If I Could Be a Giant. These books are for children's imaginations as well as life lessons. If I Could Be a Butterfly teaches a child that they can be anything they want to. Same thing with If I Could Be a Mermaid. If I Could Be a Giant is an anti-bullying based book that Mary didn't know was anti-bullying until we started putting it together, but it never talks about anti-bullying. Sharks Bite and Writers Write teaches adults and children to allow children to write, to use their imagination, because, ladies and gentlemen, children are our future authors. If we squelch that imagination, or if we tell them it isn't good enough, or if we burn it out and tell them, well, you have to write a certain way, pretty soon they'll quit writing. I know I'm a child of that. Took me a long time to understand I had a gift. Never allow a teacher or another adult or another child to tell your child, and don't you do it, that it's not good enough. Encourage that child. Sharks Bite and Writers Write do just that. They allow a child to write, no matter what. They allow a child to write. World's Best Grandfather, that Mary also wrote, is a great book for your child to buy for their grandfather, to give their grandfather, so the grandfather can read it to them and they can learn to read it on their own. And what Mary did is she took grandfathers from all over the world and asked, is this the world's best grandfather? She talks about the grandfathers, gives the right grandfather name, talks about where they come from. Great history book on a child's level. Jessie, I love you too, honey. My grandson says, took me many years to realize how important life really is, and life is very short. Linda Humphrey's little book, Cornfield Flyers of East Tennessee. Children wrote stories for her, and she put it in this cute little book. Again, children were allowed to use their imagination. Where's Wags by Rose Paddock? Wags is a little dog and he needs a bath. Only he's hiding, he didn't want a bath. It's an interactive little book. Children can look for Wags while the book is being read to them. Mary Brotherton's book, 1,000 Words, is a book of short stories. It's exactly 1,000 words long. Her graphic novel, Lizard Patrol, is about her orange tabby cat that they lost a couple of years ago, and the story is told through his eyes. Armanda's Extended Warranty, also by Mary Brotherton, is a graphic novel based on a true story about a 13-year-old girl, my granddaughter, who died from an asthma attack, and her parents donated her organs. It is still sitting in the top 100 in a category in new releases. Then we have Mary Brotherton's book, From the Balcony. From the Balcony was written during a time Mary was grieving the loss of her mother, and she put her anger, which is one of the forms of grief, to paper. Some of the stories could be true, some not so much. We are getting ready to release, Gwendolyn Law. She came online in November of 2024, and she wrote September's Chill, which is her story about her survival and thriving of domestic abuse. It is real, ladies and gentlemen. Domestic abuse is real, whether it's verbal, mental, emotional, or physical. It is real. It is a real thing. In this book, she teaches people how she not only survived, but she is thriving. Since then, she has released her coloring book called Gwen's Coloring Affirmations, which shows someone that there is life after abuse and that you are enough. She then released a Christmas coloring book. She then released Fractured Soul, which are poems that she wrote beginning as a young woman, a young girl. Heartfelt poems, beautiful poems. She is now working on a cookbook, and she is blossoming. Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc also has released Celtic Christianity, how, if I can remember the name of it, how Celtic Christianity still survives in a world of modernization. Then we have my books. We have a new author that has come on board. His book is going up today, C.R. Dunham. He has written a book called Right This Way. It is a paranormal book. I got into it, editing it, and didn't want to get out of it. Drew me right in. Yeah, we are moving along. 2 days ago, I got yet a new author, Tim Ahearns. I've known Tim for many, many years. He writes fantasy. I am so excited that 2026 is moving along so stellar. Carol Bellavance, bless her heart, I had to drag her kicking and screaming into the publishing world. She has released Open Hearts and Safe Haven Prayers, Holding On to God's Hands Through the Storms, which is blowing up. What is Lent, Advent, and she has released another one that is now live, What God is Showing You. That book went live this morning. I will be putting that one up on all of our social media. Carol is also working on a book about her journey with her mother and dementia. To say I am proud of these men and women is an absolute understatement. To say that I am honored that they trusted the process, trusted me, trusted Midnight Publishing is humbling. When I started this business at the end of June of 2023, I started it because my publisher died, and the two people that I sent her had nowhere to go. So I came home and I sat down and I had a conversation with God, and yes, I talk to God on a daily basis, sometimes more than once, because trust me, I cannot get through this life without Him. And I said, okay, God, I sent these people to this publisher and she's no longer around. What do I do? And He said, Dawn, if not you, who? If not now, when? You know how, you know what to do. I took a leap of faith, ladies and gentlemen, because my goal was never to be a publisher. My goal was to do my own books and take care of me. Selfish, I know, but that was my goal. I had been out of publishing full novels for several years after my husband died, and all I was doing was short stories for my publisher. When God said, okay, you can do this, you've been out there long enough, you know the con men, you know the scams, you know the backlash that indie authors have been getting for over 20 years, longer than that. You can take these newbies and you can mentor them, you can teach them, you can give them hope. So when I tell you that God drives this train, I'm not kidding. We built slowly, we built carefully, and in August of last year, 2025, when I sat down with Mary and she was telling me, I have all these books, but I very carefully said, Mary, make a list. Send me the children's books. I will do graphics for them. I will do the covers. We'll get them out there. Mary already had given me, or had Sally's Heart and my Angel book, which are 2 children's books out there, and they weren't moving. So she sent me those 2 books. Plus she sent me Linda Humphrey's book. Got those books up. Children's books are different than regular books. There's a way you have to put them up, and there are very, very strict guidelines. And when you are working with it, if you don't understand not their guidelines, but their set in stone rules, it can become frustrating. So we got those books up. Then she sent me the other books that had been sitting in her files. One of them was 40 years old, If I Could Be a Mermaid. In 2 weeks, we got all of her children's books up. Plus, we got up Faith and Folly, Steep Steps, 1,000 Words, From the Balcony, Lizard Patrol, and Ramonda's Extended Warranty. And again, this is all a God moment, because shortly after that, Mary had a massive heart attack. It's called a widowmaker. Again, God moved in such a way that had Mary not had trusted the process, trusted God, trusted me, all those books would still be sitting in her files, and she would still be, or maybe not, recovering from a heart attack. I say this to say, if you've got a story out there, we'll do it. We don't charge. Mary and I were at a event, and someone that Mary knew came up and was talking and told her she had a story in mind for a book. We told her to write it and send it to us. She did. She sent us 2. They're doing very well. One is Darlene J. Joe is the author. The first one is The Real Gift. I highly recommend this book for a child or an adult, because the real gift is not a physical present. And the book shows the reader that. The real gift is you. The second one is called The Slouch on the Couch. When you see someone who has absolutely no energy or just has no get up and go, there's a reason for that. It's not that they're lazy. There's a reason for that. And if you don't know the reason and you don't know how to help them overcome it, just sit with them. This book teaches that. towards the end of the year, I got an email from someone I did not know over on the west coast of Florida, and his wife had written a children's book called The Healing Real Life Adventures of Emily Rose Garten, My Seahorse Muse. And he said that I had been recommended by another friend of mine. Didn't say who, so I had to go find him. And sure enough, she had recommended him because she had volunteered at Equi Solutions, which is a non-profit equestrian center over on the west coast of Florida for people and children with different emotional and mental issues, PTSD, abuse, cognitive issues. Even businesses go over there and teach their employees how to A, accept one another, and B, work as a team. The book was a challenge because none of those folks understood the publishing industry, especially with children's books. It finally came out. The book is a little pricey, and there was a reason for that. The book is told through a 10-year-old little girl's eyes, and she has lost her great-grandmother. And her mother and father are at the beach cleaning out the condo, and she goes into the ocean, and she has an encounter with a seahorse. Darlene Williams had an encounter with seahorses. This book is based on her real-life encounters. So what Darlene and her crew have done is they have created, or had a jeweler create, blue, and they're called lapis lazuli bracelets. It's a blue stone with a seahorse on it. And when you order this book through Amazon, you send a copy of your receipt to the email that is in the book, and they send you this bracelet for your child. You can order more. I don't know what the price is. You have to take it up with them. Also, most of the proceeds from the sale of this book go back to Equi Solutions. And the back of the book is a QR code. And if you use your camera and click on that QR code, it takes you directly to the videos that show Darlene's encounter with these beautiful seahorses. Also in the book are some suggestions of how to help a child and an adult deal with grief and loss. Also gives a history of the lapis lazuli stone. The pharaohs used it to be buried with because it had quote-unquote magical powers. It's also called a blue sapphire. In the Old Testament, when God directed the Israelites in how to create the robes that the high priest wore into the most holy place, that stone was included in the making of the robes. There's history in the book. There's the story in the book. There's interactive in the book. There's suggestions in the book. This book is packed with so many things for you and your child. It is on Kindle, and it is also in paperback. I highly recommend this book. Darlene is now working on her second book of her encounters with a seagull. Can't wait to see what that book brings. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, this whole business is a God thing. I am not in charge. I am God's vessel. I am honored to be God's vessel. We do edit. We do graphics for the books. We do covers. And we publish. All we ask is that you trust the process and trust us. We have started a new thing because we've had to. that if you sign off on your manuscript and you sign off on the cover, and after the book goes up, you come back and say, Yvonne, Susie Q doesn't like my cover, so change it to this, I will charge you. Because every time I pull your book down, number one, it starts the algorithms over. So any rankings that you had go away. That book also goes to the bottom of my published pile. Because this year, we're going to be slammed with books. So understand, I need this from you. Any new authors that come on will be signing a contract stating they understand that even though we don't charge and even though I make it look easy, trust me, I spend hours on your book. Every one of my authors are special. And when I spend hours on your book, that is my time. If you send your book to a vanity press, or to a small press, or even to one of the big sixes, once they get that book, once they send you the cover and they send you the manuscript, the big six doesn't do any of that, they just publish it. And you sign off on it, and then you come back and tell them you want this and this and this changed, they're going to charge you. It won't be pretty. They will charge you for a brand new cover. I have put up on our Midnight Publishing Facebook page the running cost of what all that cost in the real world, or out there, not here. So understand, we provide a service, but we also expect something from you. We love our authors so much, and we want our authors to succeed so much. But understand, it is a process, and when you come on board, you have to trust the process. And you have to trust that I know the business. It's like my friend and I were talking yesterday. I don't know a lot, but what I know, I know. And marketing, I know. When you put a book out there, you're not putting it out for friends and families. That is this much of the market you're trying to reach. Understand that. And with 400 million books out there, you want to stand out, you don't want to blend in. So when your cousin Sue says, oh, I don't like this cover, and you come back to me and you say, well, my cousin and my brother and my stepsister and my uncle twice removed don't like the cover, change it. I'm going to say no. Because if I change it, I'm charging you. And it goes to the bottom of the pile. Because I have to go down and tear down that cover and rebuild it. I have to go look for another graphic, which takes hours. If you come back to me and say, oh, wait, fine, I forgot to put this chapter in, take my book down so I can put it back in. Or, Susie Q didn't like the way I wrote this sentence, so I need for you to take this book down and let me redo it. I will charge you. It's that simple. I make it look easy because I've been doing this a long time. But trust me, as my newest author just said, I'm frustrated. Take my book. There's a method, and I have to follow that method. I have to do what Amazon tells me to do. So with that being said, go over to our Facebook page, Midnight Publishing. Join us. If you want to come on board, let us know. We would love to have you. I will be putting up C.R. Dunham's book very shortly for release. I'll let you know when it comes live. I can't wait to get Tim's book. I've read some of Tim's work. It'll draw you right in. I'm going to be starting on my new book, if I don't get any more books from someone else first. I always put my books last, ladies and gentlemen, because you as my authors come first. Check out Peggy Engler's Spiritual Inspirational Books, Alta Desinord Spiritual Inspirational Books. Support these indie authors. We don't have a huge monetary fund. Everything that we do on our own. tomorrow on Riverside FM, and you have to go to Midnight Publishing to get the link. Tomorrow we start our free online workshop. Yes, free. No cost, zero cost. We want to see everyone there. The second Tuesday of every month we will be doing a free online workshop. I will put the link up again. Have the day you deserve. And may people be as kind to you as you are to them.